Hello and welcome to another one of my talk videos where I pick a topic and share my current views on it. Now before we jump into it, make sure you give all my videos a like and please subscribe as I have more content coming your way. Don't forget, if you're looking to buy the latest games and top ups at a cheaper price, go to CD Keys by clicking on the link at the bottom of the description box below the video and go and make your purchase. Now let's begin. So today I'm going to be talking about the Destiny franchise. It all began back in 2014 and I bought the game day one, and since then I have been absolutely hooked on it. You know, bought all the expansions and DLCs. Destiny 1 has had the best content back in the day. Everything from story campaigns to endgame activities. It was an absolute joy and fun. 3 years on, and then came release Destiny 2, and at the start it wasn't the launch it was hoping for. So we're going to talk mainly about the Destiny 2 and the current season, and we're going to be talking about how we get into this current state that we are in right now. So let's go and speculate a little bit, from that beginning, from expansions and everything. So here we go. So as I had said, Destiny 2 back in 2017, it didn't have the best launch that we are anticipated. However, I do feel that the Redwall Campaign has been quite an interesting campaign, both story and lore wise. And there's still some decent activities, going on at the moment. So we had the new strikes and of course the Revival Raid as well. And then we have the expansions such as Curse of Osiris, which was not a fan favourite, but again, story-wise, it was decent. And then we had the Warmind expansion as well, which introduced Anna Bray and all that. And it was very short, but it was good fun. I'd say it's average, but I mean, it could have done better. But at least they've acted upon, a lot of fixes, a lot of lack of, a bit of everything, but you see what I mean. And then came for Shakin in 2018, and I think this was the absolute best expansion for a while. And it was so good that I actually even joined the clan to get a lot of the endgame activities done. And I actually at the time did my first set of raids. I've started off with a 5 and then Eat the Worlds and all that, and then came Last Wish, which was the best and the hardest raid that I've ever done. So at the start it was a great start. There was a lot going on. Dreaming City has been the best areas for endgame, and it was a lot of fun, and I've got to tell you. And so they've introduced the season pass. First was Black Armory. It was a decent season, and they had some good gear and weapons especially. And there was a new raid as well, which was short, but it's actually decent. So it's Go to the Past, wasn't it? There is the Neoblabs puzzle, and then there was the Izanagi's Burden, which was quite hard to achieve because of that web bounty and all that. But it was alright. But Black Armory, in my opinion, has the better gear, in my opinion, and it's still actually really decent to use right now. So it's worth checking out. Do the forges now. It used to you can choose your own forges, but right now it's on a daily rotation. But that means you don't have to go through the entire process. But that means you have to wait for a day. But you can just pretty much do any forge. But I mean, especially with Izanagi's, you can just choose whatever you want anyway. But then comes Season of the Drifter, which was a bit underwhelming because there's a bit too much focus on two things, Gambit and the 9. So the best part about it from Season of the Drifter was that you get to choose between the Vanguard and the Drifter. I sided with the Drifter because the Drifter has better stuff than the Vanguard does anyway. And then don't forget there's the Reckoning as well, which was okay. But at least there is something to do. And then comes the Season of Opulence. Again, that was okay, but I do find the Menagerie a lot of fun, which is a 6-player matchmake activity in which you have your own chalice and you get to, you know, choose the runes that you've been given to customize what weapons or armor you like to have. So it's giving you a choice as well, and then you gotta just go through all these encounters, which was actually very, very decent as well. But Opulence is an okay season. In fact, I've not been disappointed, so but yeah, could have, you know, done a little better. But at the end of the day, seasonal content, you know, you get what you pay for, basically. Sorry if that sounds wrong, but there we go. Oh, don't forget the new dungeons was really good as well. I did my first dungeon, the Shadow Throne. It was hard, but it was so much fun, and it was really cool as well. But yeah, getting the Wish Ender was really, really cool as well. But I like it when it gets bugs and all that, but you know what I mean. And then comes the latest expansion, Shadowkeep. So Erismorn is back, and we meet the Nightmares. So basically, Nightmares are just, you know, dark forms, you know, back from the past as well, which, you know, bring back like classic bosses, and yes, that does include Crota as well. And that introduces, you know, that the darkness is approaching closer, and sooner possibly, but it gets more interesting. So, and the darkness is closer than you think, basically. So I think this is, you know, in preparation that we must be ready for when the darkness arrives. So this is the most anticipated story, but we hopefully don't have to wait too long. But there we go. And so with Shadowkeep, they've reintroduced the season pass a little bit, and what I mean by that is that they've introduced a new like battle pass style rank system. So basically, when you level up by gaining experience points, which you can do that by completing a lot of activities, but there's also bounties which gives you more experience points as well to help bump up the rank system. When you buy the season pass or buy seasonal content separately, you get access to like bonus gear and rewards as well, and you will get rewards up to level 100. So you get all random stuff from like bright engrams, luminous engrams, eververse stuff, to armor, to exotic engrams even as well. And there's also a new practice that they want to try out, and it's called Fear of Missing Out. So every single season, when the next season starts, we don't get to do those sort of seasonal activities. So for example, Season of the Undying, there's Vex Offensive events, and there's separate weekly challenges, activities and all that. When Season of Dawn came out, we don't get to do Vex Offensive again, so, and we don't actually get to grind for those weapons and exclusive armor anymore. Basically that's what FOMO is, and it didn't go really well with a lot of the players. So, and in my absolute, I find it okay, but I just feel like they could have, you know, rewarded better. They have a bunch of stuff and they're not willing to put it out for some reason, which we'll go into that a little bit later on. Season of Dawn was a little better. I think it's mainly because of Saint 14. I absolutely fall in love with him. Like seriously fall in love. Everything from his Russian accent to the look, basically. Everyone actually really enjoyed Saint 14's return. But that's the only thing. And so Cyrus was a better character in this as well. So, but there we go. And now we're coming to Season of the Worthy. So Armory is back again, and so is Rasputin as well. And I've got to tell you, this is the worst season, like even worse than Season of the Undying. I'm finding it really hard to explain. So basically, we like find some bunkers across 3 locations. There's one on the moon, there's one on Mars, and no, Earth I mean, and there's one on Io. and basically there's legendary lost sectors we have to do, but before we get access to that we have to do some daily bunkers as well, which cleared out the ads, which can take some time. And then the legendary lost sectors is ideal to go in the group because they do hit hard and you barely get a lot of stuff from it. And there's the bunker upgrades and all the armor and stuff, which requires you to do a lot of farming, a lot of grinding, like blah blah blah. It gets so repetitive, it gets so boring, and that's what putting a lot of players off as well. But yeah, and we have to trigger the public event, which not many players actually do very often. There were a few times where I see a lot of players doing that public event, and it's just basically throwing the balls into some sort of orb thing. You push it in by throwing the balls at them, which activates the tower, and we have to do it within 6 minutes. We don't gain additional time or anything like that, we just do it, and once the towers have, you know, been activated, upgraded or something like that, we have to fight off the big boss at the end, and once that's all done we get to loot the chest, which basically gives us naffle basically, other than 1 mine bits as well, so we need to do some upgrades and all that as well. And that's what putting a lot of players off. I just don't like how that is handled really. And there comes Trials as well. Trials is back. I've never played Trials. Like, at the time I knew that Trials was going to happen, but I'm not a serious PvP player. And you know, if you remember the Fire Dock at the time, they said they didn't want to make sure that this goes out half-baked. Well, guess what? It did. There's a lot of cheaters and hackers. It was unplayable, and that's not the issue. The issue comes with exclusive armor and rewards. So basically, from what I'm reading, finding, understanding, is that basically the only way they don't actually get rewarded enough, even for doing the flawless runs as well. And that's, you know, what's putting players off a lot of by playing the Trials. They did say that they're catering to the casuals, but even hardcore long-time fans like myself know that Trials is not for everyone, and they gotta understand that. And so recently, I think this time last week, players are having issues with the obtaining weekly bounties or something like that, and they did state that they will have to wait for another week. I mean, this has happened like 2 weeks ago or something like that, but obviously, well, they're able to obtain the weekly bounty now, but I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, there's a lot of problems in Trials, so that's what putting a lot of players up at the moment. So there we go. Okay, so the important question in this is, what would you like to see improved for the future? What can we do to convince Bungie to prevent killing the franchise by losing players? Should some of the weapons be buffed again? Should we be rewarded better gear for harder activities, even finding chests on any location? Should we demand for new original gear, which means no reskins? Do you think this game could use different management and direction to make the game better? My opinionated answer to all this is simply yes, but what about yourself? No matter how bad it gets, I mean, if you seriously love this game, if you love Destiny with a lot of passion, then the best thing you could possibly do is to support Bungie. We can understand that they're working extremely hard, and that with the current situation we are in today, it's very difficult to fix a number of problems, so it will take time. So I'm asking you personally to be patient with them and to, you know, be a little bit more respectful. This is not an easy time for all of us, and we know that we have been in this situation before, but they're doing everything they can, you know, to make it enjoyable again. So keep supporting Bungie in this hard time, leave your comments in this video. I want to know your suggestions. You know, just, keep spamming the Reddit posts, but try and make it more engaging and not be more negative. You know what I mean? But yeah. Also, there is one more thing that I like to get out. Now, I've actually not been playing Destiny 2 for pretty much like 2 months, and you want to find out what happened. So I'm going to tell you something that explains why and how that happened. So basically, my original account, the one that I had used since Destiny 1, has been banned. Now, before you jump on the wagon and say, oh, you're cheating, I haven't and I won't. But so basically what happened is I was paying for a recovery service for a certain weapon that I like to get. Okay, so basically I asked, certain questions just to make sure that it's legit and all that. So I've made the payment and I've waited for a while for it to get done. Then I received a message saying that it's all done. So a little bit later on, I actually logged on to play and see that weapon that I want to get, and all of a sudden I got this message popped up on the screen, and it says, "Not so fast, your account has been banned." I was absolutely surprised because I have paid for recovery services quite often, and I've not had a single problem. I think it's mostly done on the PlayStation, but this was done on the PC. So I was so upset, so I had to mention it. So I confronted the person who actually was responsible for the carry. Now fortunately they were very apologetic, and because of this they've managed to refund the money back, so that was alright, but I was upset. So I convinced Bungie about the situation, but they were unwilling to actually, lift the ban because of that situation. I was first of all mad, but I was very understanding of the situation because I know exactly what happens. But my advice to you is to be extra vigilant when you're buying a recovery service, because you never know. They could be the ones using their cheating software like aimbots, aim hacks, or anything like that. This is important. Be extra vigilant. It's better to do it on the PlayStation. It is better to do it more than PC, because on PC you're very likely to download some cheating software. You turn it on, they use it, for this and that, blah blah blah. Don't pay for a recovery service on PC, do it on PlayStation, okay? Because on PlayStation it's very, very hard to cheat on the console. And let that be a lesson. I've taught that lesson as well. And yes, I was, having a bit of a mental breakdown on the forums and all that. I don't want to dwell too much into. But, lesson learned. I've bought a new account now. But that means I have to grind for certain stuff again, which will take time. But at least I can enjoy the new content. And to be fair though, I had some decent gear and weapon, that will get me through. So I'm happy with that. But yeah, that's why I've been away for 2 months on Destiny 2. But I'm definitely still will be playing it, and I will never ever fall for that again. So let that be a lesson to you. Alright, that is all for now. Anyway, do apologise. I'm really not good at that sort of thing, but I have to do this video just to, I hope I've been entirely clear on this. That is the longest talk video that I've ever done, and I'm sorry if I bore you in any way, but I feel like I needed to get this out. Just to make you all aware of the situation, and just to let you know, I still love the franchise and I still supporting Bungie one way or another, and I apologise if I'm being a little shit sometimes, but I'm all better now. I'm over it now. I want to just continue playing. No hate, it's all about the love now. So there we go. Alright, well, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Remember, stay safe, stay indoors, and protect your health service anyway, and have a good day. I'll see you later.